it can also get us into trouble if improperly used. Consider the example of two students who missed a Monday morning exam because they had stayed overnight in a neighboring town after a late night party. Sounds familiar? Their imagination got the better of them, and they told the professor that they had had a flat tire while returning from a weekend trip and asked to write the exam the following day. He agreed, administered the exam to them in 2 separate rooms, and question 1 was straightforward and they were relieved. Question 2 asked, which tire? Navigate life, find fulfillment by making a contribution. Today you graduate into a period of great change. With the rise of digital communications technologies, social media, and other globalizing forces, the world, your world, is more interconnected than ever before. The ways in which we seek, discover, and create new knowledge are changing fast. Great opportunities and challenges lie ahead. The skills and knowledge with which you leave today will help you get started. But in the future, it will be your capacity to keep learning and to imagine a different and better future that will prove to be more valuable than anything. Since the birth of science fiction at the end of the 19th century, people have noted how often imaginative fictions have predicted the future correctly. If you watch the reruns of the 1960s Star Trek series, the 23rd century technologies described in those episodes are already here. Mobile phones, portable computers, and talking machines. Dr. McCoy was reported that doctors in the 20th century had to cut skin. Today, non-invasive surgical techniques are becoming routine. In the movie Star Wars, 3D images of people materialize out of thin air. Scientists and engineers are already predicting that it won't be long before we will be able to see these 3D images in our contact lenses or in wall screens. Those predictions from science fiction aren't all fancy. They evolved from the author's deep scientific knowledge, keen powers of observation, and thoughtful reflection on where events in the present might lead in the future. With such food for thought, the imagination can be enormously powerful. On the other hand, without food or exercise, it can atrophy and wither. There's much in the world that threatens our imagination. Busy daily routines, meaningless distractions, coming at us from every direction and every minute, and finally, fear. Fear of failure. So pay attention to your imagination. Pay attention to this world. Don't neglect your imagination's need for in-depth learning and reflection. But most importantly, remember that your imagination can be a power for great good. Like today's honorary degree recipient, Mr. Ronald Triffle. So many great leaders have dreamed of a better world and turned their vision into reality. Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela imagined the power of nonviolent resistance that led the struggle against subjugation in colonial India and apartheid South Africa. John F. Kennedy imagined man landing on the moon, which gave rise to a spectacular growth in advanced technologies. Guy Lalibert imagined a new form of entertainment that combined the best elements of circus with opera and ballet to create the world-famous Cirque du Soleil. Einstein imagined what he might experience if he were riding a beam of light and worked his way towards the theory of relativity. Mark Zuckerberg imagined the power of social networking, launching a communications revolution. The University of Alberta itself was born out of the imaginative vision of its founders. President Henry Marshall Tory and Alberta Premier Alexander Rutherford. Now, 103 years later, you are part of the legacy of that vision. Like our founders and like thousands of the U of A alumni who have gone before, you have the talent and ability to imagine and create positive change. Take care of your imagination. Use it freely, but wisely. Remember and be inspired by the words of playwright George Bernard Shaw, and I quote, "Some people see things as they are and say, why? I dream of things that never will and say, why not?" Thank you and congratulations.
The University of Alberta honorary degree is intended to recognize and honor outstanding individuals whose significant achievements and contributions are worthy of the university's highest honor. The awarding of an honorary degree is intended to encourage a standard of excellence which is exemplary to students and to society. While fields of endeavor and accomplishments vary widely, each recipient is truly unique, and each recipient, by accepting an honorary degree, brings honor to this great university. The vision of the University of Alberta is to inspire the human spirit through outstanding achievements in learning, discovery, and citizenship in a creative community, building one of the world's great universities for the public good.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of the University of Alberta, I am honored to present Ron Trifo for the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. Mr. Trifo's vision and leadership has been integral to the success of many key enterprises and organizations in our community. Stantec Inc., for example, has grown from approximately 200 employees in 1983 to over 10,000 people today across North America. As chairman of the board during the key period of 1998 to 2011, Mr. Trifo ensured that Stantec's headquarters remained in Edmonton, and today the company is a crucial part of our civic landscape. In addition, Mr. Trifo was a key architect in the transition of Edmonton Telephones into the national communications firm TELUS, and he was deeply involved in the successful restructuring and repositioning of ATB Financial. As chairman of Alberta Innovates Technology Futures, he brings invaluable skills and insights to yet another key sector, the vital expansion of research and innovation in our province. Mr. Trifo has also focused considerable attention on developing and expanding the engineering profession. He served as a founding director and later president of the Consulting Engineers of Alberta, and as an executive committee member of the International Federation of Consulting Engineers. His significant contributions have set the professional bar for his peers, not just here at home, but across the globe. These achievements are balanced by an equal commitment to serving the public good. In addition to volunteering his time for several youth leadership, healthcare, and economic development initiatives, he has been an engaged and articulate advocate for graduate studies and post-secondary education. Ron Triffo's many contributions to the engineering profession, our university, our city, and our province are an outstanding example of how the skills, determination, and commitment of one individual can contribute so significantly to the social and economic prosperity of an entire community. Eminent Chancellor, with great pride and respect, I present to you Ron Triffo.
In recognition of your visionary leadership and enduring contributions to advancing the social and economic prosperity of our province, I desire to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws and to express the hope we shall continue to be enriched by your wise counsel in many years to come. Congratulations.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, Chair of the Board of Governors, graduates, friends and family, good afternoon to you all. What a magical day for you and for me. For me, this is a day of honor and pleasure. To be recognized by a world-class institution that I admire so deeply is indeed a humbling and gratifying experience. An experience that ranks as one of the highlights of my career and a moment in time that I shall always treasure. So to all of you here today, to the University Senate, and all others who have made this day possible for me, I thank you most sincerely. But this day, graduates, is not about me, it's all about you. My heartiest congratulations go out to each of you for what I know is all the blood, sweat, and tears that you've invested over many years to secure your place in this beautiful auditorium today. And today, of all days, you should feel proud of what you've accomplished. Now, I know your journey hasn't been an easy one. I did it myself. And in fact, for some unknown reason, you all decided to challenge one of the toughest educational programs that wonderful institutions like this one could put before you. And you did. So again, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. But now, the million-dollar question is, what will you do next? Now that you've received your passport to the future, as I call it, how will you use it? What do you aspire to? Will you be judged a success? Well, now, I wouldn't blame you if you tell me that these questions are ones that which you really haven't spent a lot of time considering. I know myself, I graduated, believe it or not, in engineering 50 years ago this month. And I must admit that when I was sitting where you're sitting, I really hadn't thought about these things too much either. I also appreciate that many of you are already on your way to jobs, they've been secured, others are looking, others will continue their studies. But if I may, I'd like to just take a few minutes to speak to you about some immensely important career positions that are available for the taking. The positions I'm talking about are as this nation's leaders of the future. This province, Canada, and indeed the world are in desperate need of individuals who can lead. We heard your president talk earlier about imagination, and we need that. There's not a segment of our society nor a sector of our economy that is not in dire need of leadership renewal. Individuals who have the talent to imagine and to plan, who have the attributes to attract followers for a common cause, and who have the ability to act in a timely fashion are in very, very high demand. Indeed, they are critical to the future success of our society. Now, as graduate engineers, each of you has a definite leg up for one of these jobs. Now, as an engineer, studies will generally show that your IQ is typically among the top 2% of the Canadian population. So you've got the smarts. Your analytical and problem-solving skills have been honed by years of rigorous training. These are very, very useful attributes that you can bring along to your job interview. But they're not enough. In order to secure the job of a leader, your resume is going to require more than just your technical skill set. A management consultant, Robert Hawley, made a simple distinction between a leader and a manager. He said, and I quote, "A leader knows what's best to do. A manager knows how best to do it." Now, many engineers make terrific managers. Fewer make good leaders, and that's a big pity. So, with 50 years of hindsight, and drawing from my own personal bag of wins and losses, I want to share with you my quick tutorial on Achieving Leadership 101. Now, while I know a number of lengthy books have been written on this subject, I've only got a few minutes. So I'm going to talk to you about 4 or 5 critical traits that I've found over the years are those kind of characteristics that really define a good leader. First of all, it's all about people. Leaders lead, leaders motivate, leaders inspire. And who do they lead, motivate, and inspire? By people, of course. And we can think of these great leaders, some have been quoted earlier, Churchill, Kennedy, Mandela, and yes, maybe even your local community club president. Now, while the first 3 provided leadership to millions, your community president worried about a few hundred people. It matters not. The principles involved in leadership are common, and it is through people that visions of the leader is carried out. Be it in business, community, politics, or your profession. A good leader understands this in spades, and a good leader always thinks about people first. Secondly, consensus building. Increasingly, you're going to see we're involved in a world where teams of individuals are required to get things done. A good leader knows this, and a good leader understands that there's often more than one way through the maze. So a good leader hears out alternative solutions and will consider at time and understands that other things may result in a plan that's actually the second best technical plan. Remember that. Thirdly, communication. Now, communication is a principal key to the success of any good leader. Regardless of where you end up, what you're doing, sound communication skills will be essential. I would encourage you to work relentlessly on your presentation skills. Seek outside professional help if it's necessary, because your visions, your plans, your research proposals, financial requests, will all need to be sold to various stakeholders. And without a solid articulation, which your president really has, your best ideas may never ever see the light of day. Fourthly, execution, execution, execution. How often have you heard a poor plan executed brilliantly is better than a brilliant plan executed poorly, or words to that effect? Well, it's true. A good leader relentlessly focuses their people on the execution of the chosen plan. They establish ways to measure success, and they make timely decisions to expedite. They do not permit paralysis by analysis, a defect that's not uncommon in the engineering fraternity. Remember that. Execution is the key determinant of success for any organization, and leadership is all about delivering great execution. Final point. Leadership is a full-time job. A good leader is not a one-trick pony. A good leader is a well-rounded individual who provides leadership beyond just his or her position or profession. The same leader who excels in business is often found demonstrating those same desirable qualities with the local kids' soccer team or fundraising for their favorite charity. In short, a good leader does not quit at quitting time, and a good leader can always be counted on to give back in a big way to his or her community. Finally, it's my experience that a good leader never forgets the many people supported their journey to success. And in particular, Dean Lynch will love this, never forgets the institution, Dear Reed University of Alberta, that provided so much of the underpinning of their success. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Achieving Leadership 101 in 5 quick steps. Now some of you will have already demonstrated many, if not all, of these characteristics. Others will not. And many of you will not have thought much about them at all. But I sincerely recommend them to you. Master these traits, combine them with the hard-earned degree that you're about to receive, and leadership success is within your grasp. So as I look around this room today, I wonder who from among you will step up one day to become a Dean of Engineering, perhaps the president of this great institution, or maybe a CEO of Stantec. Why not try politics? Perhaps a future Premier of Alberta or a Prime Minister of Canada is sitting here today. It wouldn't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise you. Now, I'd love to come back here 50 years from now to see how many leaders this class produced. Well, something tells me I'm going to be otherwise occupied. Many of you will be here, and I hope when you look back, you will be more than impressed with results. So everyone, thank you all for listening to me today. Let me leave you by again congratulating all the graduates on achieving their degrees today. And again, my thanks to this wonderful institution for the honor it has bestowed on me. To each graduate, I wish you much health, happiness, and success as you set out on your continuing life journey. And remember, the world not only awaits you, the world needs you. Thank you very much.
so much, Dr. Trifo. Those were wonderful words of advice. I know our students will remember them always. So thank you for being here today. And Dr. Trifo just signed our honorary, the university's honor roll, so now he's officially a member of the family. So thank you. Now, graduates, it's your turn. As the name of each graduate is called across the stage, I will formally admit you to your degrees, and we'll have an opportunity to congratulate you. On your journey across the stage, you will also walk past the University of Alberta's ceremonial mace. Centuries ago, the mace was a symbol of authority over life and death. The Davis mace represents the life-changing power of knowledge and the importance of our university and our graduates in the community.
Will the candidates for degrees please rise? And follow on page 5 of the convocation program. Page 5. Eminent Chancellor and President, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you these scholars and ask that they be pledged and admitted to the degrees to which they are entitled.
Do you promise faithfully to observe and loyally to maintain the statutes, customs, privileges, and liberties of this, your university? Do you solemnly promise to conduct yourself in all things loyally and faithfully to the honor of your university, the encouragement of learning, and the good of your country? Please.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province and with the consent of this university, I admit you to the degrees to which you are entitled and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining to such degrees. I charge you to use them for the uplifting of the whole people, to inspire the human spirit, for all who believe to serve your God, and to pursue more steadfastly whatsoever things are true. Please be seated.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of Professor David Lynch, I present the following graduates for degrees in the Faculty of Engineering. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, the recipient of the Governor-General's Silver Medal, the Right Honourable C.D. Howe Memorial Fellowship, the Henry Bergson Sands Medal, the Pega Past President's Medal in Civil Engineering, the J. Jack Longwood Scholarship, and the C.W. Carey Prize in Structural Design, Joe Carlson with distinction.
Joel Carlson is one of 3 recipients of the Governor-General's Silver Medal. The Governor-General's Silver Medals are the University of Alberta's most prestigious undergraduate academic awards and are donated by the Governor-General of Canada, His Excellency the Right Honourable David Johnston, and his wife, Her Excellency Sharon Johnston. First presented in 1873 by the Earl of Dufferin, the medals recognize and encourage academic excellence across Canada. Joel is also the recipient of this year's Right Honourable C.D. Howe Memorial Fellowship, our most prestigious undergraduate convocating monetary award. Funded by an endowment from the C.D. Howe Memorial Foundation, this fellowship is awarded to the undergraduate student who attains the highest overall academic standing throughout his or her degree program at the University of Alberta. In addition to the Governor General Silver Medal and the Right Honourable C.D. Howe Memorial Fellowship, Joel has been selected to receive the Henry Burks and Sons Medal. This medal is awarded to a graduating student from the Faculty of Engineering on the basis of academic standing in the final 2 years of the program. This award is donated annually by Henry Burks and Sons Limited in recognition of academic excellence in engineering. Joel graduates from the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Alberta with an impressive academic record. He has received numerous prestigious awards throughout his undergraduate career, including a Chancellor's Citation, the C.W. Carey Prize in Structural Design, and the Jesse E. Paul Memorial Prize, and a Suncor Energy Emerging Leaders Dean's Citation in Engineering. He is also a winner of the Apega Past President's Medal in Civil Engineering. Joel graduates with a total of 42 A+s and 2 A's. Over his entire career. He plans to pursue graduate studies in transportation engineering at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and has been awarded an NSERC postgraduate scholarship. Please accept our heartiest congratulations.
Eminent Chancellor, for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, Sharik Akhlaq. Kimberly Victoria Alcor with distinction. Mohammed Ibrahim Al-Harbi with distinction. Anand Singh Batu. Megan Victoria Belkey. Morgan Anthony Carlos. Sarah Nina Marie Carpentier. Richmond James Cadigan. Usama Sayed Chaudhry. Eric Chen. Aaron Matthew Cherian with distinction. Andrew Chin. Amy Christensen. Heather Michelle Cole. Alison Blair Jamath. Brendan Paul Dexter with distinction. Brian Jeffrey Donnelly with distinction. Mohammed Asmin. Fatima Mushbar Faizi. Jan Fan. Svetoslav Fedosenko. Jorge Andres Fiela. Ryan Matthew Frederick. Ankita Gupta. Stephen Nicholas Hansen. Aman ul Haq. Amanda Kate Hatfield. Pitt and Richard Hole. Irvin Jiang Ling Hu with distinction. Rebecca Francis Hu with distinction. Timothy Sandy Hendrik Holloman. Ian John Ignacio. Yan Jiang. Shengxi Jin. Justin David Cox. Matthew Brian Kriska. Thomas Victor Lang. Han Chia Lee. Sean Sinhur Liu. Christopher David Lloyd. Aaron C. Min Lo. Eugene Liu with distinction. Angelica Patricia Lovera. Paul Blue with distinction. Jason Luke with distinction. Tommy Mack. Ewan Gao with distinction. Sarah Frances Mallowan. Connor James Mackenzie. Scott Metronet. Sean David Montgomery. Kwang Van Yuen. Chad Jeremy Nickpong. Yarmin de los Trinos Maticuar. Jillian Parker. Adam Paula. Andrew Daniel Paulina. Philippe Esguerra Pinocos. Abdul Hadi Kwazi. Jordan Marion Ramsey with distinction. Laura Janine Retzlaff. Alan Arthur Carl Bruhl with distinction. Megan Ellen Luther Ross with distinction. Tyler Mervyn Rushfeld. Taylor Nicholas Rutt with distinction. Dawood Salami. Alison Patricia Salmon. Samir Sharma. Brad James Smith. Alan So with distinction. Mark Andrew Suarez. Carolyn Jean Storkoff. Michael Ikiro Takamori. Omar Taliani. Kyle Brady Taminga with distinction. Cynthia Shin Zita. Tan Tran with distinction. Huang Tru Tran. Jason Chung Sun Si. Lin Wang. Xiun Wang with distinction. Vanessa Loreen Warren with distinction. Vincent Lee Wong. Jacqueline Nicole Winnick with distinction. Zhen Shu. Junlin Yang with distinction. Sheldon Corey Young. Shani Yu with distinction. Sarah Eden Zelter. Chun Zhao. Hao Chu with distinction. And a transfer for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Curtis James Ralph Otten. Astro Item Fisu. Anna Joan Pollitz. Derek Ryan Beatty. David Allen Becker. Justin Nicholas Brian Beatty. Michael David Blanchette. Boca Christian Blanco. Thomas Allen Brown.